Yo, welcome to live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And I'm used to saying because I got the Jersey Boys Porsche, got Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but I'm live out of Fort Lauderdale right now. I'm in Davenport, Florida. Welcome to the Valuable Assets TVM podcast. I'm Victor Arocho. Listen, the solution to your financial growth and challenges is easy, super simple. Nah, things are simple. They're easy say, hard do. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about solving any problem. Usually there's an easy solution, and maybe easy is all relative. But first, you got to figure out the problem. You don't figure out the problem, there's nothing to solve. Einstein said, we cannot solve our problems with the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Think about that. How if you got a situation you're in and you keep trying to do the same thing to try to get out of that situation, particularly financial, whether that is getting out of debt, or particularly you want to start expanding your growth, you're concerned about the economy, the retirement, how are you going to do that? By doing the same things you're doing. You need to learn. So hopefully I could teach you some of the things here, and that what has helped me and it's continued to propel me forward. I am a constant avid reader, audiobook listener. My car is my library. I recently, sold my house and moved into another place, utilizing those assets, and I had books galore. And I should have been doing some of the things that I'm learning now, particularly posting and selling some of these books. So let's get right into it. All right. So number one, I usually like to start off what I think is the most important. If you don't understand the problem, it really doesn't matter what the solution is, right? If you don't understand your situation today. So let me give you a story, right? One thing that's happened to me over the last couple of years, I've been in insurance for over 30 plus years, mostly in property casualty. And I expanded into life and health, and life brought me into, cash flow banking insurance policies. The funny part is being in the insurance business, particularly in, say, auto insurance, it's all about reserves. It's all about surplus. You need liquid cash because if there's a claim, you want your claim paid, right? If you're in an accident, you want your claim paid. Well, cash flow banking or infinite banking or bank on yourself, how you want to, is in a similar process, except for as a person, you can utilize it. You could leverage that money as a business owner, small business owner. You could leverage that money, and we don't think of it that way. So let's say focus on the problem. What is the challenge, right? So one of the things in my case, you got to figure out where the problem is. And one of the problems is when it comes to building either more wealth or generating more assets is your income versus your expenses equals your net income, right? So, and that is in every business. And so you should treat, again, you're going to hear me say a lot that personal finance and business finance are kind of one contradictory, or they're not on the same path, yet businesses thrive and people are in debt. So if I went and showed you the US debt calculator, which I'll show you in a little bit, you're going to see how the debt is rising. Both we're in $1 trillion of debt by the US government. There's student loan debt that's in the trillions. There is debt all over. That's the problem. And so that's the symptom of the problem. What is the problem? Is the spending. So in our case, one of the key pieces that we started, and I've always did this, but then sometimes you fall off track, and I had to really get myself. I've been very successful, made money, and then things change. So I needed to get back, and I want to leave a legacy. I'm big on problems. 1323, I believe. Good person leaves an inheritance to his children's children. The problem. What is the problem? Where is your spending problem? Okay, so super simple. They call it a budget. I'm not big on utilizing the word budget, right? Businesses try to create a budget, but at the end of the day, they do projections and forecasts, right? So at the end of the day, when someone goes to buy a business, right, and you see people being acquired, they don't go, "Let me see your budget." They go, "Let me see your profit and loss statement." Right? And what's your EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization? It's a whole different segment. So where's the problem? So one, you want to create what I call your own personal P&L. And I'll show you that in another video. I'll have something in the link below to give you at least a template. Okay. your salaries, your income coming in. How much money do you have coming in? Both you and your wife, your spouse, your partner. Okay, is that steady income coming in? Boom, that's your income. In my case, are there commissions in addition to that? So right on top, that's income. Super simple. You could do this on a paper napkin. Okay, so you should know how much money I have coming in, at least minimum on a regular basis. That total that. The next piece is now you have your expenses. I always want to categorize them into two areas. Now, I'm telling you the kind of the solution first, but and I apologize, right? So, but what is the problem? The problem has got to be is where is it that there's inefficient dollars within your profit and loss statement? A lot of times there's businesses. I've been part of businesses when I was running businesses or my own business where, things change, and sometimes you have to cut expenses to save the masses, right? You don't want the company to go down, then everyone doesn't have a job. Sometimes there's layoffs, unfortunately, but you have to do those things in an effort to keep the business surviving. One, not only for yourself but for your people, for the people that work for you, the people that you hire that have families. So go through your expenses. So one, where is the problem of my expenses? Okay, one, these are just expenses that I have to pay every month, that if I don't pay, there's a problem, which is your rent or your mortgage, right? Your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your renter's insurance. Those are things that we call discretionary. What are the things you have to pay? You're going to put them in one bucket, those things that no matter what. So now you got super simple, not that it's simple, but you have your income minus your what we call non-discretionary. Non-discretionary means you have no choice. You have to pay your rent, right? Or else you're not living at home. Or you're not living, you don't have a place. Okay, how much do you have to spend in food, right? Well, that's going to be non-discretionary. But what are the things you have to pay? Tally that up. Bang. You got, that's so you got X is income, you got Y is your non-discretionary things I have to pay, my car payment, my insurance. Then the next one will be non-discretionary. So are you spending non-discretionary streaming services, like Netflix, Amazon Prime, gym memberships? Are you going? There's times that, I got gym membership. I want to go. It's the new year. I want to lose weight. I'm going to get worked out. I want to get in great shape, and I don't go. But either put it on pause because maybe you got a good deal, or cancel it. So you want to go and look at what we call non-discretionary, discretionary expenses. What are the things that you're spending that you're overspending? And between those two expenses of discretionary and non-discretionary, totals up, subtract it from your income. There's right there. What's the problem? Do I have too much month for the money that I'm making? Are you spending more than you should? Are you going out more than you should? Are you figuring out on credit cards that I'm spending? I got lots of credit card debts. Where are my debts? Where is money going out that is affecting my net income, which would be your cash? Okay, so you want to stay focused on that and look at that number and start working your way on what can I reduce? Can I go without cable for a little bit and have a streaming services? Where can I look? Be intentional. That's the one thing that happened to me. So what happened is we started looking at it, my wife and I, and we started saying, okay, wait a second, we're spending on that. Why are we spending that? Why are we paying for this? We started looking at, sometimes you want to get a new phone, you upgrade, you got extra equipment charges. Be smart on those pieces. All right. Pause some of the gym memberships you have to for a while. Figure out how to get more income. So you can't. There's a great book, I believe, Simple by the Numbers by Craig Crabtree. He's a friend of mine, entrepreneur. And he states you can't cut yourself to greatness, particularly in businesses. How much expenses can you cut, and that you think that that's going to make the total difference? And it's going to help you grow. It's going to help you generate more wealth, or generate more income, or generate yourself getting out of the debt, right? There's only a certain amount you got to live, and you got to have some happiness in there. You can't live a life of scarcity. So you may have to figure out, how can I get more income? Which led me to down this path, right? I was making money. I had expenses. We were okay, but I couldn't get past paying or getting out of debt. So I had to find other income sources, which God thankfully led me into cash flow banking and the N asset and better wealth and great people like the Kesslers and the Money Multiplier and just Gary Gunderson, so many books and information and great people that I met. So let me zoom back in. Action items. All right. One is create your own, what I call profit and loss, right? Super simple. Are you profiting or are you losing based on how much income you have coming in, subtracted by the amount of money that you're expending and what is left over? And where can you start reducing without making yourself feel like, oh my God, I don't have anything. But if you start living that life of intentional, reviewing that with your partner or by yourself, if you're young, zone in, especially because that's where it starts. Your expenses start rising. You get a raise, you buy something else. We're a society that buys things on payments, not on the end result of the car. Oh, I can afford the car for $200, but then you're not realizing what the insurance is, or you're paying exorbitant amount. Are you spending way more money on are you trying to pay down your mortgage, or you're trying to pay down all these other expenses, right? Refocus it. And that's where, one, we help you out, get a clarity, figure out where the problem is, right? Then we can start on the journey of fixing it. If you're working out, for example, and you're not getting the result you want, we got to figure out the problem. We give you an exercise program, but yet you're going to McDonald's after the workout and eating 3/4 pounds of cheese and shakes. I mean, we got to change that. So anything in computers, things that you don't know about, doctors, you always go, they're gonna do tests, they're gonna probe you, more testing. They got to figure out where the cause, where's the root cause of the issue in an effort to fix it. The fixing is usually easier than it is finding the problem. You have to be and recognize yourself to understand, hey, where's my problem? Is the spending. If I keep going on credit cards, so it only goes up a couple dollars. No, stop it. People tell you cut up your credit cards, freeze your credit cards. You do however you want to do it. But at the end of the day, having access to cash is always powerful. So, I had credit card debt several times. Now I've got myself out. My credit score has risen, but it doesn't mean I'm going to lower my credit, my ability to spend. I'm just not going to be carrying debt. Okay. So that's number one. And I have my notes here to try to be concise. So action items, check out on the link. We're going to have something for you for a P&L. It's going to give you some examples of your income items, and then non-discretionary things you have to pay, discretionary things that you don't have to pay or fluctuate. Okay. Conserve on electric bills, figure out, be smart on what you're doing. All right. Number two is, living here, Dave Ramsey has done a great job in his field of what he's done, but it's one of those things that you become so powerful, right, that everybody believes everything you said. And he's helped a lot of people, but he's also not helped a lot of people because someone like me, and I started off with Dave Ramsey and I thought there were some good concepts and we tried it that way. Look, I can't live in feeling like I can't spend a dime. I can't have my kids feel that way, where especially I was doing really well at one time. I'm doing pretty good now, but I can't, right? And I still tithe no matter what. So he's got some good things, but the problem is you can't just live off of nothing, right? And not have any happiness in that journey. And if you get a chance, go look up Dave Ramsey's house. I mean, he's worth $450 million. Good guy, got nothing to say. I think he's got a lot of good concepts. I just don't believe that. I also believe that God doesn't want to live us in a life of scarcity. He tells us to go, be bold and prosper and multiply. Right? He gives us the resources. So that's like, budgeting, dieting, DIE. Look, I'm just eating well. I'm eating better. I lost weight. And how did I do it? I did intermittent fasting. What was the problem? Right? My problem was I was like sweets. I was eating after hours, eating late. I mean, I had to change that. Once I changed that problem, stopped eating from 7 to 9 a.m. And if I ate a little later, I would still go 14 hours fasting, drinking a lot more water. That I figured out the problem. That was the solution. It dropped. Now I'm trying to drop a little bit more weight. So let's see if how that continues to go. Okay. God did not intend us, and I have here, this is not the life God intended us. He wants us to be prosperous. He gave us the ability. He gives us the sun. He gives us the rain. He gives us the light. He gives us the things that we need. He gives us the soil. It doesn't mean that you don't have to take care of the plant. You don't have to cut the grass. You don't have to plant the flowers. You don't have to trim the flowers. So you have to do something, right? So that is the next part of it. Don't try to live so like I can't spend a dime, but just be smart about it and use your words wisely. You know, your kids and people don't need to keep just saying, I can't afford that. I can't do this. No, just it's not something I want to spend my money on right now. That is fine. Okay. But you make that choice. And by having an asset policy or a cash flow banking policy, let me tell you, for me, it's making me live more focused intentionally, right? Normally, if I come into a big flow of cash, I right away want to, I'll take care of some of my expenses, but I want to go in and buy some suits or do some things. And sometimes that's okay. But right now, I'm very, very smart and cautious on how I present that. Okay. You want to make sure you have some happiness money, go out, date night. I'm a big believer in giving, in tithing. You know, if you give, you shall receive. Okay. You want to start, making sure you're, you want to be out of debt. The wealthy want to be out of debt. And those of you that are not in debt and you're doing well, particularly those of you that have a business and you can save, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 a year. How do you multiply that? Right? Remember the story of the 3 talents, right? One person was given 1 talent, one was given 5, one was given 10. And when the master came back, he said, what did you do with my money? 10 doubled it, 5 doubled it. The one left it there, started his planking by. And the other one just buried it, said, hey, I just want to make sure I didn't want to lose it. Well, that was the person that was punished. You want to multiply your money. And the beauty about cash flow policies, whole life policies, not only they protect you for legacy, but you get uninterrupted compounded interest. So if you take that talent of money of income that you have in and you take that portion of it and you're able to put it in to one of these companies that have been around for 170 plus years, past every bust and boom, it's going to continue to grow. And then you have access and control to that money. All right. So what I want you to do there is that your action items on here is one is words. Not that you can't afford. I don't want to spend my money on that. 2, decide on what kind of return am I going to get on this money? Not only is it financial return. One, you want to get a financial return. For every dollar most entrepreneurs spend, they want to get 3 to 5 return on their money. Okay. 2, where do you store your money? Cash flow banking, you want to store it. You don't want to bury it, right? In my opinion, storing money just in a bank and sitting there and being happy with where your bank account is growing, okay, is burying your money. Because with almost 9% inflation, you're losing. It is going deeper into the ground. Okay. Be intentional with your money. If there's anything I'm going to ask you. So 1, smart, use your words. Not that I can't afford, but it's not something I want to choose to spend on. 2, I'm preparing myself for greatness more in the future. Okay. 3, where I'm going to find inefficient dollars, right? So I can utilize that money and invest to pay off other items that I have. All right. So I just wanted to give you a couple of those quick action items there. And I got one of these things that come up. All right. So now I'm going to go couple more things, and I'm going to tell you some things that I don't know. Okay. Here's a beauty piece, right? Infinite banking is the most important impactful things in my life was about infinite banking, specifically design high cash value policies, right? You'll see other videos of mine. There's just a spender, and then there's a saver, and then there's a maximizer. The most impactful thing in my life is I had to become a maximizer. I was a spender. Right. I started life being a saver and I was doing really good with that. And then I would look to invest and I did pretty good there. But then somewhere it changed as I got older and I moved and I wanted more things. And I guess media, you see, learn infinite banking, cash flow. Click on my link. At least listen to the to the author of the asset, Caleb Gilliams, right? There's other books by Garrett Gunderson, The Money Multiplier, by Chris Nagel and Brent Kessler. I mean, just listen to them, learn, or see if you can see a different concept. The problem is that we're always stuck in the same belief system, because that's what it was. Quick story, right? This young girl was with her mom, and they were making meatloaf, and the mom would make the meatloaf, and when she took the meatloaf out of the pan, she would cut each side off the pan and discard it, and they would serve it. So the young girl goes to the mom, why do you cut the sides of the meatloaf? She goes, I don't know, my mom taught me that. She goes, okay, well, why? This is a good question, let me call my mom. She calls her mother, which is the girl's grandmother, and she goes, hey, why do we cut the meatloaf in the recipe you gave me? I mean, we love the recipe. Why do we cut the sides? The mother goes, the mom's mom says, I don't know. That's what my mom did. So they call their grandma. Thank God the person's still alive. Then grandma, which is the young girl's great grandmother. Why do we cut the sides of the meatloaf off every time we go to create this awesome recipe? And the great grandmother and the grandmother says, well, that's because at that time that was the size of the pan. So the only reason they were doing generation after generation was doing the same thing is only because back in the day, the size of the pan was not big enough, so they had to cut the sides. Don't do that. You know, look what's happened with the 401ks. So my most impactful piece was, again, all right, I'm giving you a story, action items. My impactful piece was, I want to control and be able to utilize my money, because we're always taught what we don't do, and the education and financial isn't there, in my opinion, strong enough to generate income in the same aspect. You're supposed to get work for money to get money to work for you, and that's what cash flow infinite banking policies do with companies that we represent that have been around for 170 years. They're A-rated billion-dollar companies, and they made a profit for a year. It's over year over year. All right. So that's how it changed my life, and it's now given me the opportunity to change the lives of others. So study, action item, read the asset, click on the link, listen to the audio, to the recording by Caleb Gilliams, right? Let him understand where you're able to leverage your money. This is not an investment. So I'm not trying to sell you an investment. I can't even sell you. You got to qualify, right? So I don't make any money, and you don't pay me anything. The company does. So just so we're clear, this is all about passing it forward, being a messenger. So studying in infinite banking, look at the ways people use it, and make sure you're with someone that is authorized and understands the process. A lot of people put people in a difficult position. Make sure that there's affordability, there's room for you to grow. I go through multiple iterations. There's other reps out there that will have someone else do an illustration. I like doing it, look at the numbers, because I know how it happened to me. The one people changed my life was, I was 30 something, buy term, invest the difference. Well, it didn't work out, right? If I would have kept banking that money, I would have been in a good place. Again, I always say, well, maybe that's where God led me, so I could teach other people. So listen to the click on the link and listen to the video. It's only 60 minutes. You watch more of that on Netflix. Okay. Read the asset, get the audio book. Look, Sacred Cows by Garrett Gunderson, The Money Multiplier by Chris and Brent Kessler. Okay. Again, you're going to see this book quite a bit. I'm part of Better Wealth. Okay. Excellent book. It gives you a different mindset. I've made my journey. Okay. Right now, my score just went up over 100 points within a year, and I am zoned in focus to help as many people as possible. So I hope that part helps. Now, the component of the problem, right? So we're telling you that, one, what is the problem? Are you spending more, right? Do your profit and loss. And the one thing I don't know that I am learning is, now that I am generating more, and I have money stored in my asset policy. Now I need to do the asset. So what I don't know is I'm looking for other opportunities, smaller business, passive income businesses, and I'm learning that. And how am I doing that? The same way I keep learning more and more about fractional reserve lending, the banking system. Just so you know, what I'm telling you is, if go to Yahoo Finance, go look up Wells Fargo, great company. Wells Fargo, look up the balance sheet, click on balance sheet, click on assets. You're going to see one line item says BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. They got about 23 billion in there. So there's Bank of America, TD Bank, Chase, Citibank. It's called the tier one asset, means it's liquid, but it's considered an asset. When you put a deposit into a bank, it's a liability because they got to give you that money back. They turn around and re-lend that out, now becomes an asset. So what I don't know is trying to find, how do I generate more assets? How do I generate passive income? Financial freedom is being able to have the ability to be able to have money coming in without working that covers all your expenses and to live the life that you want to live. Now, that doesn't mean don't shut it down because you're not flying around in a jet. But hey, if you're happy making 100,000, 60,000, 50,000, whatever that is, imagine having that money coming in no matter what, and still being able to work. So you find little pieces. That's what I don't know yet. I'm looking at as many things possible, whether that's flipping houses, looking at real estate, the term called flipping by Gary V. Those things I don't know. What am I doing? I'm studying. I'm listening to audiobooks every day. I keep trying to advance myself so I could teach others. I can't give you everything that I know in 2,000 hours in a 30-minute video. But I hope this helps you, so you could see that I went from one, all problems are easy once you got to solve them. And I'm working with a major client right now, and we're trying to see, we understand the problem, right? Now we're just figuring out, coming up with the solutions. Okay. Listen, my wife sent me a beautiful text. Okay. And so now we know the problem. So now the solution, not that it's always easy, but there's a solution to it, and we're working towards that solution. So one, let's finish with these major impactful action items. Okay, here's your takeaways. One, okay, I need you to create a list regarding the problems you face financially, right? Okay, what are those challenges? Number one. Number two, I want you to now we're going to create a P&L. We're going to create them into the financial, two categories you're facing financially. What are internal and external? Internal is, what are the things that are happening to you that you need to change? What are the problems? Am I spending too much? Do I have too many services? Do I keep spending on credit cards, figuring I can pay it off, or let me just pay the minimum and let me enjoy it? Stop that thinking, right? Don't be a slave to the lender. Second part is external. Right? Is your 401k really working for you? I stopped contributing to 401k. My wife, we utilize that money, and we're building it into our own banking policy, and then utilizing that again to start learning how to build more assets. Okay. So you got internal, external problems. And I have something here that I probably will put for you in the links below. Let's see, make sure you can see this. Sorry about that. Okay, here's the problem, right? So, if you don't understand the problem, right, the solution really doesn't matter, right? So you want to do activity. What are the internal problems of facing? Emotional, personal reason, external, the cases that are influenced by outside, the government, inflation, rates. So write these down, internal, external problems. All right. The next thing is I'm going to want you to create a profit and loss statement. Okay, you may look at it as a budget. Stay focused on profit and loss. Run your corporation. The Arocho household is the Arocho corporation. Okay, run it, and then income. What is my income? And make a tab every month. Boom. This is August 2022. All right. Income, me, my spouse, me, my partner, me alone. Okay. Any additional plus bonuses that put in at a certain month, go down. Second part be expenses. You're going to put in your non-discretionary things that you have to pay every month, because if not, something can happen. Then you're going to do a second part, not discretionary things that I spend that I can either change, adjust, but make sure you have stuff that you can enjoy life with Don't go a day, don't go a week without enjoying your life. At the end, you're going to see what that negative that is. Is that a negative? Is that a positive? Is it a positive? What are you doing with that money? And then let's figure out what we can do with that money to have it grow to pay off other debts. You'll see videos of people saying, why am I going to pay off a 3%, 4% loan when I can go utilize that same kind of cash and get a 7, 8, 10, 20% return on my investment? Now, those aren't easy. People just throw them out. That's what they think at the end. Hey, I'm going to have all this money. I'm going to get 10% every year. It's not that that's easy, but there are businesses. There's things that you can do. There's so many things. Go look at Gary Vee. Gary Vee teaches you a lot of different pieces. I don't care where you go to, but there's a way to help and make sure that you don't live the life that you want to live, and set the example. Be that hero in the story to your family. The number 3 is external problems you face. I got that. Okay. And then, oops, sorry. Okay, the end asset. After watching the video, click on the link for a clarity call. It's a free strategy call. Yes, I'm asking for you something. Why? Let me help you. I'm helping for free. I've done my studies. I lecture at other places. Okay, if I can help you, or go to someone else that you feel more comfortable with. You can go on YouTube and look up infinite banking. Feel comfortable with the person that you want to feel comfortable with. But let's make a difference and change the lives of financial literacy in this country. Okay, only 5% of the country understand the ability to leverage their money through banking. Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins. So take these action items to heart. Okay, I'll put them in the list below. Thank you. God bless. You have a great day. Valuable assets, Victor Arocho, the N asset. Click on the link below. Hope to hear from you. Talk to you soon.